We're exposing something the biggest beer brands are counting on you never figuring out. 5 beers you definitely recognize are charging premium prices for products the global beer community officially rates as awful. Not mediocre, awful. We pulled real shelf prices from Albert Heijn and Jumbo, cross-referenced them with BeerAdvocate scores from hundreds of thousands of drinkers, and what we found should make you genuinely angry. And there is a law hiding in plain sight since 1978 that lets every one of these brands put ingredients in your beer without telling you a thing. Stick with me until the end, because I will show you 3 beers on those exact same shelves, costing less, rated virtually perfect. One brewed by monks since 1595. Scores 99 out of 100. Let's open up the truth. First up, there is a law on the books that most beer drinkers have never heard of. Regulation 1169 of 2011, Article 20. One line of text hiding in plain sight since 1978 gives every brewery in Europe a free pass. Any drink above 1.2% alcohol by volume does not have to list its ingredients. 27 countries, every single supermarket shelf. That means the beer in your hand could contain ingredients that would shock you. The brewery owes you zero explanation. Caramel coloring for a perfect golden hue, corn syrup to sweeten the deal, synthetic stabilizers to keep the foam alive on a cross-country truck ride. Even animal-derived fining agents such as gelatin or isinglass can be used without a word on the label. The only thing you will see is the alcohol percentage and maybe an allergen warning if you are lucky. Consumer groups like Foodwatch Nederland have been fighting this loophole for years. In 2019, they launched a petition that pulled in over 38,000 signatures, demanding ingredient transparency. The NVWA, the Dutch Food Safety Authority, replied with a shrug. Their hands are tied by Brussels. The exemption is written into EU law, and the Netherlands cannot change it alone. In 2017, reform failed at the European level. The loophole survived. The result is this. Brewers can slip in additives, sweeteners and colorants with no questions asked. Every beer brand on the shelf is protected by the same rule, so before we even talk about price or taste, know this: the system is rigged, the courtroom is wide open, and the next 5 beers are about to take the stand. In the 5th place, Desperados Original stands accused of selling the party, not the beer. Walk into Albert Heijn and you will spot it on the shelf at €5.38 per litre. That is a premium, more than you will pay for some Belgian Trappist ales brewed by monks. But what are you actually getting? BeerAdvocate's global community, tens of thousands strong, gives Desperados a score of 58 out of 100. That is not mediocre, that is officially awful. The damning part, Desperados is not just a lager, it is a cocktail of corn syrup and synthetic citrus flavor, all hidden by the EU's ingredient loophole. Independent audits have confirmed what the label will not tell you: corn syrup for sweetness, artificial citrus to fake the tequila vibe, and a hit of caramel color to keep it looking festive. Peer-reviewed lab tests pick up the chemical citrus before you even take a sip. The average rating is 2.7 out of 5. So why pay €5.38 per litre for a drink that scores lower than supermarket basics? Because you are not paying for the beer, you are paying for the party that was never in the glass. The price tag is the charge, the rating is the verdict, and Desperados just failed the test. In 4th place, Corona Extra is the world's most successful marketing operation and one of the most expensive mistakes in the Dutch beer aisle. Albert Heijn sells it at €5.05 per litre. That's not a typo. It's the price of a so-called import lager that is sold in 180 countries and brewed in giant factories across Europe. Now, what are you actually getting for that money? BeerAdvocate's global rating is 57 out of 100, not just below average, officially awful. The beach isn't in the bottle. Here's the real story behind the sunlit label. Corona's ingredient list is protected by the EU loophole. No one is required to tell you what is actually in the bottle. Independent lab tests have found caramel color for that perfect golden glow and stabilizers like carrageenan to keep the beer looking clear after a month on a shipping container. None of it is on the label. None of it would fly in a craft brewery. Bartenders have a running joke. The lime wedge isn't tradition, it's a mask for the taste. The average rating on another scale is 2.9 out of 5, with over 100,000 drinkers weighing in. You're paying for the idea of a beach you will never visit, not the beer in your hand. And just 2 shelves away, better rated beers cost less. The pattern is clear. The world's biggest brands are selling you a myth and charging you a premium for the privilege. In third place, Sol Cerveza stands as a masterclass in shelf deception. Walk into Albert Heijn and spot the price, €5.07 per liter. That's not a slip of the scanner. It's the same premium you pay for Corona, right down to the cent. BeerAdvocate's global drinkers, over 500,000 strong, give Sol a score of 59 out of 100. Not just disappointing, that's officially awful. The average rating is 2.8 out of 5. The numbers don't lie. Sol and Corona are the same scam in a different bottle, but Sol adds a twist. The label tells you nothing, thanks to the European Union's 1.2% alcohol by volume loophole. No ingredients are listed, no additives named. A 2019 inspection by the European Food Safety Authority flagged Sol for using carrageenan as a stabilizer, a synthetic thickener that can float under the regulatory radar. That is what keeps the beer looking clear after weeks in a shipping container. The golden pour is caramel color, not craft. The vibe is all sunshine and lifestyle branding, no substance. Sol's marketing leans hard into the refreshing Mexican spirit, but the recipe is built for shelf life, not taste. So why are you paying €5.07 per liter for a beer that barely scrapes a pass mark? Because the label is the product. The taste is a rounding error. And the real story is hiding in plain sight, right next to the Corona, same price, same additives, same corporate playbook. The only thing more expensive than Sol's shelf tag is the illusion it sells. The next beer will show just how much that logo tags can cost. In second place, Budweiser is the logo tags in a can. Walk into Jumbo and check the shelf. €4.04 per liter for Budweiser. Slide your eyes 2 bottles over Dommelsch, a domestic lager, is sitting at €1.51 per liter. Same style, same supermarket. The only difference between €1.51 and €4.04 is a red label. That is not a premium for quality, that is a premium for branding. Now flip the can, you will not find an ingredient list. Budweiser, like every beer above 1.2% alcohol by volume, is protected by the EU loophole. The brewery owes you zero explanation, but thanks to independent audits, we know what is inside. Caramel color for that fake golden glow, and animal-derived finings, isinglass made from fish bladders, used to clarify the beer. If you are vegan, you will never know unless you dig through industry reports. The label will not warn you. The law says it does not have to. Check the verdict. BeerAdvocate's global drinkers, over 3,000 of them, give Budweiser a 57 out of 100. That is officially awful. The average Untappd score is 2.6 out of 5 from more than 120,000 ratings. BeerAdvocate, the world's largest brewing conglomerate, owns Budweiser and a dozen other independent brands. The price gap is not about ingredients or taste or even where it is brewed. It is about what you are willing to pay for a red label and a global ad campaign. The logo is the product, the beer is an afterthought, and just down the aisle, Dommelsch pours the same style for a third of the price. The next beer on the list is even more cynical. And finally, in first place, Heineken Gekoeld is the most cynical product on the Dutch beer shelf. Jumbo charges €4.42 per liter for the privilege of a chilled bottle. Take 3 steps over to the standard crate at Albert Heijn and you are looking at €2.78 per liter for the exact same beer, same recipe, same factory. They put it in a fridge and charged you 60% more. There is no secret ingredient, no special process, just a sticker that says Gekoeld and a spot in the fridge. The taste? BeerAdvocate's global average hovers at 3.03 out of 5, with over 240,000 drinkers on Untappd giving it a collective shrug. Not a disaster, but nowhere near a premium. The only thing that is premium is the price per liter. Here is the kicker. A university lab study found E150D caramel color in Heineken, just like in the other mass-market lagers. The EU ingredient loophole means you will never see that on the label. You are paying a 60% markup for a cold bottle and a hidden dash of caramel color. Everything I'm about to show you is sitting on the exact same shelf right now for less money. First up, Trappistes Rochefort 10 is the beer that flips the script on everything you've just seen. It costs less than a Desperados. It has been brewed since 1595. It scores 99 out of 100. Here is the proof. Albert Heijn and Jumbo both stock Rochefort 10 in 75 centiliter bottles for as little as €5.99. That works out to €7.99 for 3/4 of a liter. Yes, a little more per liter than the worst offenders, but the bottle itself costs less than a single Desperados 6-pack. And what do you get for that? BeerAdvocate's world rating is 99 out of 100. Untappd's average is 3.95 out of 5, with over 31,000 ratings. Not just better, this is world class. No caramel coloring, no corn syrup, no synthetic stabilizers or animal finings hiding behind a legal loophole. Rochefort 10 is brewed by Trappist monks in Belgium, using the same recipe and natural ingredients since the late 16th century. The abbey's history is older than most countries. Every bottle is a dark, rich quadruple, with dried fruit, caramel, cocoa, and a depth you can actually taste. And the kicker, it sits 2 shelves away from Desperados, often for less money per bottle. The price tag is not a scam, the rating is not a joke. This is what happens when you skip the marketing myth and pay for the beer, not the brand. And this is just the beginning. The next beer on the shelf has nearly 350,000 drinkers calling it a 99. Stay with me. Next, St. Bernardus Abbot 12 is the beer that makes the numbers impossible to ignore. On the same supermarket shelf as many overpriced lagers, this Belgian Abbey Ale sits quietly with a shelf tag reading €7.45 for a 0.75 liter bottle. That is less per bottle than a 6-pack of Sol or Corona. But here the story turns. 348,000 people have rated St. Bernardus Abbot 12 on Untappd and BeerAdvocate. The global verdict is a score of 99 out of 100. Let that sink in. Corona scored 57. This costs less. It has been there the whole time. The difference is not subtle. St. Bernardus is brewed in Poitou, Belgium, using a recipe that has not changed since the days when monks ran the show. No caramel coloring, no corn syrup, no synthetic stabilizers, no animal-derived finings hiding behind legal loopholes, just malt, hops, water, yeast, and time. The result is a deep, dark quadruple loaded with dried fruit, caramel and chocolate, real flavor, not marketing. The price? €7.45 for a 0.75 liter bottle at Albert Heijn and Jumbo. That is less per liter than a crate of Heineken gekühlt. The verdict is world class, by the numbers, by the crowd, by the taste. The myth that better beer means higher price just fell apart. And the proof is sitting right next to the party lagers, quietly waiting for someone to notice. The next beer brings that same world-class score, but it is brewed right here in the Netherlands. Next, La Trappe Quadruple is the Dutch ace that has been hiding in plain sight. The best beer on this list is Dutch. It costs €2.25. You just had to know where to look. Walk into Albert Heijn or Jumbo, and there it is, La Trappe Quadruple, brewed at the Koningshoven Monastery in Tilburg. Not an import, not a marketing myth. This is real Trappist beer made by monks using a recipe that has been perfected over generations. Here is the number that matters. €2.25 for a 33 centiliter bottle. That is less than a single Desperados can, less than most 6-packs of the party lagers. And what are you getting for that? A beer that scores over 3.9 out of 5 on Untappd, with more than 260,000 drinkers weighing in. BeerAdvocate calls it world class, an average of 93 out of 100, with more than 1,000 written reviews. On Beerista, the Dutch beer platform, La Trappe Quadruple lands a score of 8.3. These are not boutique numbers. These are the crowd's verdict, from people who actually drink the stuff. There is more. Look for the green leaf, the EU organic certification. That little logo means the barley, hops and yeast are certified organic. No caramel coloring, no corn syrup, no synthetic stabilizers or animal finings. Just real beer, brewed the hard way, right here in the Netherlands. The price is not a trick. The quality is not a myth. The best value in the Dutch beer aisle is the one with the home address. La Trappe Quadruple is the local upgrade you have been missing. And it is sitting there 2 shelves over from the overpriced lagers, waiting for someone to notice. Here is what you do next. Walking into the beer aisle, the first move is to check who is really behind the label. Open corporates and the Dutch KVK registry reveal the true owner in seconds. Type any beer name and see if it is AB, InBev, Heineken or a smaller player. That logo might look local, but the registry does not lie. Next, scan the barcode with your phone. Free apps pull up the product instantly. Drop the name into Untappd or BeerAdvocate and check the crowd rating. If it is under 3 out of 5 or below 65 out of 100, you are looking at clever branding, not quality. This takes less than 45 seconds, less time than it takes to grab a random 6-pack. Third, spot the green leaf, the EU organic logo. That symbol means 95% of the ingredients are certified organic, no synthetic pesticides, no caramel color, no corn syrup, and no animal finings. No leaf, no deal. Fourth, check the ingredient list. If it is just water, malt, hops and yeast, and the organic logo is there, you are good. If not, Foodwatch Netherlands database and petition track which brands hide additives. For those who want to dig deeper, see Foodwatch Netherlands resources. Fifth, ask for proof. If a bar or shop claims a beer is independent or organic, ask for documentation. Real brewers are proud to show it. You now know the questions to ask, and you know exactly which brands do not want you asking them. Across all 8 beers, one pattern hits like a hangover. Price has nothing to do with quality, and supermarket shelves are rigged by marketing, not merit. The EU loophole means breweries don't even have to tell you what's inside the bottle. You now know the questions to ask, and exactly which brands don't want you asking them. Which of these have you been buying without realizing? Drop it below, no judgment. Subscribe if this opened your eyes.